Hello everyone. Today we will study about dynamic programming and Warshall's algorithm under dynamic programming. First we'll see what actually this dynamic programming means. It is a general design technique for solving problems defined by or formulated as a recurrences with overlapping sub-instances. Meaning of this one is what? So for example, your problem you take as a larger instance and you set up a recurrence relation in such a way that after an iteration, what are the solution will get? No, that solution must be a smaller instance. On every iteration, what are the smaller instances will get? No, that one will record as a table. So this table will take as a reference to get a solution in next iteration. Okay, so now here we are using the word as a dynamic because this procedure is repeated until you will get a final solution. At the end only you are going to get as a solution what actually you require. That's the why you are using the word as a dynamic programming. This is what actually dynamic programming. Is it clear? Okay. Next we'll see about Warshall's algorithm. So this is the algorithm usually used to find a solution for transitive closure. So what actually this transitive closure? Let's see. Transitive closure, it is used to find a path, that to non-trivial path here. To find a non-trivial path, we require input as a directed graph, and what are the input will take? Note that one must be in the form of Boolean matrix. Boolean matrix means it contains values as a zeros and ones. If from ith row to jth column, if path is there, that is non-trivial path. Non-trivial means what it is? Directed path of positive learn. If it exists, then we'll take that one as a 1. If path is not exist, that is non-trivial path, if it is not exist, then we'll take that one as a 0. This is what we call as a transitive closure. To finding this one, we are using this Warshall's algorithm. So for example, this is the one directed graph. Okay. So now here, this is the Boolean matrix for this graph here. 1, 2, 3 path is existing. That's why that path, if it is existing, and that to be positive path. 1, 2, 3 we call as a positive path. That's why here you are taken as a 3 here. For 3 to 1 it is negative path. Okay, negative means what? Reverse. Based on the direction, if it is in the reverse, that is what you call as a negative path. But that path you are not considering. You are considering only non-trivial path. Non-trivial path means what? Positive path. 1 to 3 path is existing, 1 here. In the same way 2 to 1 path is existing, that's why it is 1. So 2 to 4 path is existing, 1, and in the same way 4 to 2 is also path is existing, that's why it is 1. Remaining there is no path, so if there is no path then you have to take that one as a zeros. If path is existing, directed positive path, if it is existing, then you take that one as a 1 here. If path is not existing, then you take that one as a 0, and this one actually we call as a adjacency matrix here. Adjacency matrix means what? From that path, that node to next node, if you are having the direct edge. Okay, based on that you are finding the path here. That's why this is the adjacency matrix. Okay. Next, with the help of the other nodes also, you may have the path here. For example, here 2 to 3 you are not considered as a path here. You are considering that one there is no path because there is no direct path between 2 to 3 here. But there is path is existing here. Okay, how it is existing? Directly it is not existing, but with the help of the node 1 we can get the path from 2 to 3 here. That is here 2 to 1 and 1 to 3. So that is what you call as the intermediate node here. Direct path, if it is not existing between any two nodes, with the help of other node, if you get a path, then that node actually we call as what? Intermediate node here. See here 2 to 1 and 1 to 3. It is positive path only. Path is existing. Okay. But with the help of this intermediate node here. Okay. See that based on this intermediate nodes, you are getting a transitive closure that is totally different from this one. So this one is changed here. Okay. Earlier you are considering that 2 to 2 there is no path. Direct path is not existing. But with the help of 4 as an intermediate node, yes, you will get the path. 2 to 4 and 4 to 2 here. That's why it is 1 now. In the same way, 2 to 3, direct path is not existing. But with the help of this intermediate node, we are getting the path. That is 2 to 1 and 1 to 3 here. That's why it is 1 now. In the same way, so 4 to 4, 4 to 1, there is no path is existing. But with the help of 2 as an intermediate node, I am getting the path here. That is 4 to 2, 2 to 1. So that is the change here. In the same way, 4 to 3, earlier path is not there. But with the help of 2 intermediate nodes. Okay, like this you can take more than one intermediate nodes also to reach that particular node. Okay, 4 to 2, 2 to 1 and 1 to 3 path is existing. That's why it is 1 now here. Okay. So now and the same way 4 to 4 also path is existing. 4 to 2 and 2 to 4. So that's why these are the values. Earlier it is 0. But with the help of the intermediate nodes I am getting the path here. Yes, you can take the help of the intermediate nodes. After taking the help of the intermediate nodes, if you get the positive path, that turn also you represent as a 1. That is what you call as a transitive closure here. Is it clear? Now let's see how we'll get the transitive closure for a given graph with the help of Warshall's algorithm. So this is the working principle of the Warshall's algorithm. Let's see the illustration of the Warshall's algorithm. So this is your given graph. Okay, now my aim is what? I have to find the transitive closure for this given graph. Transitive closure means what? From the every vertex to remaining vertices, if you have the path with the help of intermediate nodes also, then you take that one as a 1. If there is no path, then you take as a 0. And this procedure you have to check for all the vertices. So to check that, you are taking the help of Warshall's algorithm. So this is R0. R0 means just it is a adjacency matrix. Adjacency matrix means what? From A to B or from A to D and from A to C. Direct path if it is there, that one you represent in R0. So A to B path is existing, that's why it is 1 here. Next, A to C, is it path existing? No, 0. A to D path is existing? No, it is no, 0. So from A to B only one direct path is existing, that's why it is 1, and remaining all are 0. In the same way, B to D only one path is existing, that's why it is only 1 and remaining all 0. From C there is no path, 0. From D you are having the two paths. D to A direct path is there and D to C a direct path is there. That is what? D to A 1 and D to C 1 here. This is R0. R0 means what it is? It is a adjacency matrix. Adjacency matrix means what? From one node to another node, direct edge if it is connecting, then you consider that one as a path here. Okay, this is your first iteration. Okay. Next is the R1. This is your second iteration. And what are the solutions you are getting here? No, this one we call as a sub-instances. And we store the result of this one in the form of table here. So now here I taken the box. This box meaning is what? To get the solution for this iteration, I am taking the help of these values. With the help of these values, I am getting solution for this iteration. Okay. So now we'll see how this R1 works. R1 means now in this iteration we can take one intermediate node here. Okay, so only one intermediate vertex we can take here, that is just vertex A here. So now at present with the help of A, if you get the path to the remaining all vertices, yes, if it is there, then you write that one as a 1 here. So now A to A with the help of A, it is not possible here. A to B direct it is there. A to C also no. A to D also no. So for example in the B also there is no changes and C also there is no changes. But see here D to B you are getting the path with the help of A as an intermediate node. At present we can take only one node as an intermediate node, that is A. Okay. So now D to A. A is what now here? A is the intermediate vertex. With the help of this node, I can reach to B now. See here, D to A and A to B path is existing. So that's why here it is value is changed what now? It is changed as a 1 here. Okay. So now it is changed, now it is changed as a 1 here. This is the only one value it is changed as 1 here because with the help of A as an intermediate node, now I am getting only one path, that is what? D to A and D to B here. See, this is the thing only it is changed. Remaining all it remains as it is. Okay. Next, this is the second iteration. Next, we'll go for the third iteration. So in the third iteration, that is R2. So R2 means, so now you can take two intermediate vertices. Okay, one or two intermediate vertices you can take now. So what are those intermediate vertices now? A and B here. So now with the help of A and with the help of B, if you are getting path for the any other vertices, yes, that one also you can consider. And here I use the boxes. Meaning of this one is what? In this iteration, what are the result I got? No, that one I'll take as a reference for the this iteration to get the solution here. Okay. So now see here, for example, we can take A and B as an intermediate vertex. Earlier, there is this A to D is 0. Now in this iteration, I can change that value with the help of what? S. If I want to get A to D, direct path is not there. See, direct path, is it there? No. But with the help of B as an intermediate nodes, S, I can reach from A to B and B to D as path is existing. See here, A to D, A to B and B to D. You are using the B as a intermediate node and I am getting a path now. That's why it is changed as what? 1 here. Next in the C, there is no changes. In the D also, now what is the thing? D to D also I am getting the path with the help of A and B as a intermediate nodes here. So let's see how it works here. So first is D. First you have to move from D to A. A is the intermediate node now. Next A to B. B is also intermediate node. And next B to D here. See, that is the thing. D to A to B and B to D. I got the path now. It is positive path only. Yes, it is positive path. That's why these are the two values are changed by taking the help of intermediate vertices A and B. That is the R2 meaning two intermediate vertices you can take now. For 1 means only one intermediate vertex here. Next 3 means yes, 3 intermediate vertices you can take here. What are those? A, B, C here. You can now take 3 intermediate vertices. With the help of these 3 intermediate vertices, what are the paths you will get? No, that one you have to check here. But problem is here from C there is no edges going outside. Means what? There is no path you will get as a positive path from C to the remaining all other vertices. That's why for this example, okay, for this example you are not getting any new paths. But for another example, you may get the path. So, but criteria is what here? For example, assume that here if this one more edge if it is there. For example, I am telling. So now D to C earlier it is there. Now okay, D to A earlier path is not there, but with the help of C as a intermediate node, I can get here D to C and D to A. In case this edge if it is there, then I'll get the path from D to C and C to A because I can take C as a intermediate node here. In the same way, for B also I'll get the path here. That is now I can take the A, B, C, 3 intermediate nodes also I can take here. So now earlier I taken C as an intermediate and I got the path, and now I am taking AC as an intermediate path and I got the path to B. In the same way for D also I'll get the path here. This one when it works if this edge is there, but for this example edge is not there, that's why it does what? 0 only. Okay, but you can take here among these 3 it may be Okay, A may be intermediate vertex, AB may be intermediate vertex, or ABC may be intermediate vertex. These three can come in between the any two nodes. That one you consider as a path, and you can take that one as a one here. For this example, that path is not existing. That's why no new paths here. Next is R4. R4 means what? 4 intermediate vertices. 4 intermediate vertices means what? Yes, you can take A as an intermediate, AB as an intermediate, ABC as an intermediate, or ABCD as an intermediate. So any 4 intermediate vertices are now ABCD here. With the help of these 4 intermediate vertex, you may get the path now. For example, A to A. Earlier, A to A, there is no path, but by taking B and D as an intermediate, now I am getting a path here. That's why it is changed as a 1 now. See here, A to B, B to D, and D to C here. Positive path it is there. That's why it is 1 now. In the same way, A to C. So earlier A to C, there is no path, but with the help of B and D as the intermediate nodes, I'll get the path here. A to B, B to D, and D to C here. So that's why it is what now? It is 1 here. And D already you have got the, by taking B only, intermediate node here. Next, B to A here. So B to A, earlier there is no path, but I can take the D as an intermediate now. See here, A, B, C, D, anyone you can take as an intermediate, or more than one can also you can take as an intermediate to reach that particular node now. So for B to where I stopped? Okay, B to A. So now B to A, earlier there is no path, but with the help of D as an intermediate, now I got that path now. In the same way for B to B also, how many intermediate nodes? Yes, we can take D and A as the intermediate nodes, and I'll get the path to B now. In the same way, B to C here, B to D and D to C, path is existing, and that is also, it is marked as a 1 here. Darkened means what? After taking ABCD as the intermediate, these are the values are changed. Okay, same thing I explained here. If new 5 paths are we are getting with the help of this ABCD as a intermediate nodes. This is the result here. Okay, so now after finding the solution, you got the solution. This is your final state. How many vertices are there? 4 vertices if it is there, then you have to repeat this procedure for 4 iteration. Means what? On every iteration you can take one intermediate vertex and you repeat for the procedure. Next, second iteration 2 intermediate, third iteration 3 intermediate, and fourth iteration 4 intermediate. For 5 vertices if it is there, then 5. Okay, like that you have to repeat, and after completion of that R4, what are the result we will get? No, this result only we call as a transitive closure. Transitive closure means what? Non-trivial path. Non-trivial path means what? Positive path from one vertex to remaining all the other vertices. If path is exist, then you will take that one as a 1 here. If path is not there, then it is 0. Because for the C, there is no path is there. That's why it is what? 0. From C, there is no outgoing edges. That's why from the C, you won't get the any part to remaining vertices. That's why it is 0 now. This is how actually Warshall's algorithm works to find the transitive closure. Is it clear? Okay. Let's see algorithm. I'll take the same example. So algorithm, this is the pseudocode, and this is the name of the algorithm, Warshall's. And as I told earlier, if it is a graph, that graph usually will represent in the form of the adjacency matrix in your program implementation. And now thing is what? This is the adjacency matrix. Adjacency matrix means from every vertex to remaining vertices direct edge if it is there. Okay, then you take that one as a 1, otherwise it is 0 here. And that is the what? R0 is what? You are directly taking R0 as a adjacency matrix. Next, for k equal to 1 to n, and for I equal to 1 to n, and for j equal to I to n here. This is your source vertex. I indicates your source vertex. Source means what? For example, A is your source here, and now I want to get the path from A to B here. Okay, then A is source, and B is the destination. Now here, to consider A, you are using I, and to consider B, you are using J here. For example, if there is no path between these two, okay, A to C here, if there is no path here, okay. So now for example, this is your source and this is your destination, and I is A and J is, okay, J is C here, but there is no direct path here. Then you have to take as a B as a intermediate node. To consider this B as an intermediate node, you are using K here. K for which purpose? To include the intermediate vertices, I for the source and J for the destination here. These are the three for loops you are using to get the solution for your problem. So what is your problem? Okay, directed graph is given and you need to find a transitive closure for the given graph here, and this is the equation here. Rk Ij is equal to Rk minus 1. K solution if you want, then you take as a K minus 1. Earlier iteration, what are the solution you are, I know, that one you are taking as a reference, and with the help of that you are getting the solution here. That's why it is K minus 1, K minus 1 and K minus 1. Here I'll take the same example. For this example, one iteration I solved here. For example, first for loop K equal to 1 now, and I equal to 1 and J equal to 1 here. Then I want to find the R of K value is what now? 1 here. And I value is what now? 1. And J value is also 1 here. R of 1 comma 1 if I want to find. Meaning of that one is what? First row and first column here. Okay. And I taken here 1 to n means what? Row. Okay. Adjacency matrix. It is started with the 1 and it ends with the n here. Okay. So that is equal to R of K minus 1. K it is what? 1. 1 minus 1 means it is 0. R of 0, I is 1 and J is 1. Or R of 0, that is K minus 1 means what? 1 minus 1, it is equal to 0. I is 1 and also K is 1 here. That's why it is 1, 1. And in the same way, now R equal to and, okay, here R and R of K minus 1, R of 0, K value is 1 and J value is also 1 here. So now this is your equation, and next we have to check whether what is the value in the R of 0 as a 1, 1. 1, 1 means what it is? First row and first column. What is value is here? It is 0. Okay, in the same way, or is a logical or, and R of 1, 1. Same thing, first 0, first column. This is your first row and this is your first column here. So value is what now? It is 0 now, and it is also 0. 0, okay, 0 and 0, and if you are using no, so then what it is? If both are false, then it is false, and true, or you are using, if both are false, then you will take that one as a false here. False means what? If 0, 0, if it is there, if you are using the or, then it is 0, and also it is 0. That's why you will get as a first row, first column of R1 as a 0. Okay. So next is K of 1 and I is equal to 1. This is your inner J loop is the inner loop. First you have to execute this one until condition of J1 become fails. When J value becomes fails, then you comes out of this for loop and you will execute this for loop, and this for loop also will repeat until condition become fails. When this condition become fails, then you will go to this for loop and you will repeat the same procedure. These are the two inner loops. These loops only you call as inner loops because these are the loops comes inside the one more loop. This is your outer loop and this is the first inner loop and this is the second inner loop here. Okay. Now where I stopped, now I'll increment J value. So R of I is 1, J is 2, and R of 0, 0, K minus 1 minus 1 means 0, 1 comma J value is 2, 1 comma K, 1, 1 it is, and K comma J here. J value it is 2. In the place of J, now I substitute as a 2 here. Meaning of this one is what? In the R0, what is the value of first row and second column? First row, second column value is what it is? It is 1 here. So that's why here I taken as a 1. and in the first row, first column. So in the R0, first column, value is 0 here. So that's 0 it is here. And first row, second column, 1 here. Okay. So now 0 and 1. So true and false it is. 0, 1 means what it is? It is 0 only. But 1 or 0. Then you'll get the output as what it is? It is 1 here. Okay. You can take like this also. 1 or 0 means what? True, false it is. This is true and this is false. In logical OR you know that. 1, 0 means it is 1 and 1 means it is 1 only. So now in the first row, second column value got as a 1 here. Next you increment j and j value becomes 3 now. You substitute the j value in the place of j here. That is 3 and this is 3 here. So this first row and third column it is 0. First row, first column is 0 and this is 0. If it is 0 means you will get 0 here. Next increment j becomes 4 now. So you substitute j value in the place of j now. That is 4 here and j here it is now 4. That meaning of this one is what? First row, fourth column. First row, fourth column value is 0. So first row, first column value is also 0. One second. First row, first column, I done the mistake here. It is actually, I'll see one second. It is 0 only. Okay, A to D it is 0. By mistake I entered here as a 1. Actually it is 0. So 0 or 0 means what? You will get as a 0 only it is. Okay. So now this is 0. By mistake I entered as a 1 here, but this is 0 here. So if I do, then I'll get this one is also as a 0 only. Okay. So next is what? So now J4. How many this one J value can increment? How many vertices are there? 1, 2, 3, 4. Up to J4 you can increment. When you increment J5, then this for loop condition become fails. If it fails, then you have to go to the execute this for loop here. So in this for loop, earlier I value is what? 1 it is. Now if you are increment, I value becomes 2 here. And when I value becomes 2, then once again you execute this inner j loop here. So then same thing, j equal to 1 here. I value becomes 2 and j value is 1. You substitute those values 2 comma 1, 2 comma 1. That I value you replace as a 2 now and j value is 1 and k value is 1. If you substitute those values, this meaning is what it is? Second row, first column. So what is second row, first column value? It is 0. Second row, first column value it is 0 and first row, first column value is also 0. If I substitute, I'll get the value as a 0 here. In this way, you have to repeat the same procedure for until I value becomes 4 now. First, you have to increment j to 4. When j4 completes, then you increment I3 and next once again j1 to 4 and next I4 and j1 2 3 4. This procedure will repeat and when I value becomes 4, then you will complete this one. After I becomes 5, you stop this for loop and you increment k value here. 3 for loops you are using. That's why it is this procedure is repeated. How many times? 6 times it is. Okay, n cube times you are executing these statements. So it is same as the your problem. What are the problem you are solved now? Here this is the procedure only you are done here. See here in the R1 0 1 1 0 here. So for this one, if you want to get the solution for the R1 only, you have to repeat 4 cross 4 times here. Okay. So 4 times what are the procedure you are done here? No, this one you are repeating. Same thing. It is done in the form of the matrix. If you want to check, if you are substitute here, you will get the same values only. Okay. So now we'll go for the analysis. Time efficiency. As I told earlier, if for loops are 3, then it is what? 1 for loop, 1 n. For 3 for loops, you will get as a n cube here. See here, you are using extra thing as a space efficiency here. Space efficiency means what it is. So on every iteration, what are the solution we'll get? No, this R0 and this solution will take as a reference here. If you want as a R1, Then you are taking the help of the values of R0 and you are getting the solution here. So R0 is a reference here, and this one, the solution you have to store somewhere in the form of table here. For storing that one you require extra memory space. So that's why you have to go for space efficiency also. So for efficiency, table means what? It is in the form of the matrix. How much memory space you require now? It is of the theta n square here. Big N square and theta n square are same. N square means what it is? Table form. Table contains rows and columns n into n. It is the n square here. This is how actually Warshall's algorithm works and how we'll get the solution to find a transitive closure for the given directed graph. Is it clear now? Okay, thank you.